Good evening, folks, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Roundtable. I am your host, Danny Ellyson, here on the Grayson Network, and today is July 14th in the year of our Lord, 2021. I hope that you'll stay with us tonight for the next hour as we travel through our opinions and thoughts of several different topics that are hot in the press right now. But one thing that we can all agree on is the media is not doing it justice. Doesn't matter how they try to spin. It's literally one versus the other, a divisive conversation, but nobody presents solutions. They present ideas that cause more conflict. But the solution to all of this is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Derrick, tonight, welcome to the show. I would like to recognize you for 2 minutes for your opening. What is important for our viewers to hear from you tonight?
Danny, I think what's important is for the viewers to hear this panel as you move forward as the host of this show to get them clued in. I started to do a drive time today where I was going to just kind of break it down to people. We can speak till we're blue in the face. But until, my brothers, until the let me put it this way, those in the Republican Party that continue to support the betrayers of conservative values, until they wake up and do something different, we will continue to sit back, putting the information out there for them, but going in the same direction, Danny. I listened to Rand Paul the other day, great with the words, sounding good, just like he did before Donald Trump got in office, but he never accomplished anything that stopped the country from going to hell in a handcart. Nothing. All of the money he talked about them spending, all of the wars he talked about that we win, not one single war ended. Not one single omnibus bill failed. Not one single piece of pork went away. It all continued, but his words tickled the ear. He had a great conservative voting record, but that ain't what the country needed. But it was when Donald Trump got in office that things began to change. The sad part that many of these Republicans don't understand, Alan, Dominica, is that Donald Trump did most of it by way of executive order because his own party, those rhinos, would not back him. And as soon as he was booted out unjustly, unrighteously, Barr had already prepared all of the executive orders that Joe Biden would need to sign to undo everything that Donald Trump put in place. And my last point is, I read today where they were talking about Cuba, because that's important. I'm sure you're going to talk about it. But Trump pulled us out of the UN Human Rights Council because he said it's corrupt. Joe Biden put us back in it. And now the UN is lecturing America on its race relation history. And I heard what somebody said to the UN. How dare you?
I'm gonna interject there. It's not that the UN is lecturing anybody. It's that they were invited to investigate and probe the United States for racism and inequality. And they were invited by the Biden administration.
Yes, they were invited. But the question was posed, why aren't they down there in Cuba or China, who all have a seat on that same council? So that was my point. Thank you for those 2 minutes and 90 seconds. I appreciate that, Dan.
Folks, listen, and Derrick's opening is brilliant. It's beautiful, and it leads into the rest of everything that's going on in this show. Again, the solutions to all of this is simple. It's just not easy. It's not going to be easy to change, but it is simple to solve. The United Nations investigating the United States, the freest nation on earth, one that sends its soldiers abroad to defend other nations, their causes, and their human rights, is now being investigated by the UN, which is supremely, I don't know if my panelists would agree with me, which is basically a communist organization itself, based on the invitation of President Biden and Kamala Harris. I don't know, folks. Seems a little strange. Now, we were just talking about President Trump. Derrick brought up Trump and his work and how things started to change. So I have a question, simple question, and I'm going to go to Dominica. I call her Dominica, Dominica, Dominica. I say Dominica.
It's all right.
I was going to say,
how are you feeling about the text messages? That just came down the ladder yesterday.
Yeah, I think we might hold for that one there, and we'll come to
No,
that later.
I got some evidence. They already
Okay,
started.
we're gonna come to that. We're gonna
Not
come to
those
that.
text messages from last night. Not those.
Not those particular ones.
So
Danny, no.
It took me a second, Derrick. You're right. When she said it, I was like, "Why are we doing that here on the show?" But I caught it. But we're gonna stay on task. Okay, we're gonna stay on task. The first issue that we're going to discuss tonight is President Trump's operation, his lawyers, his campaign to sue the big tech companies for the censorship that is taking place. And it looks like he's actually got some traction. Dominica, your opinion, your thoughts.
I don't believe in necessarily suing the people. That sounds like a thumbs up, yay. I built another one. When I get boxed out, I build better. That's my personal thoughts. You know, it's.
But and that's beautiful because all of us are used to that, right? We're used to bouncing back in the box that we have perfected in our own life. But argumentatively, in the position of President Trump, we have to entertain the idea that because of his celebrity, because of his presence around the world, because of his voice, because of his platform, he does have to take certain steps that make a public statement on behalf of everybody that believes in him. And the best way to do that in our country is in the courts, is it not?
I would certainly agree that it's in the courts. However, once you reach a certain level of celebrity profile, I'm more of a fan of doing something versus actually doing nothing. We've seen this throughout even this election integrity aspect. People are bandwagoning, and I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you. I will agree that what he is doing is necessary because yes, sue him. We're a litigious society, and that is where we should go with it. However, suing them will get them gone, but what will get them gone faster is replacement.
Well, no, I absolutely agree with that. But we live in a society of the blind, deaf, dumb, stupid, and ignorant. And that's very clear. We see that. And I'm on the record with that. I'll stand by it, and I'll challenge anybody that's offended by that statement, because you're one of the people I'm talking to if you're offended by that statement, and I would love to show you the light. But the fact of the matter is, ultimately, yes, what he's doing is bringing awareness and attention. And so from his one placement, the one action, the one thing that he can do is to defend himself and allow it to be on public display, which gives all of us a reason to believe in hope.
Yeah.
Hope is what has been missing. See, we heard from President Biden, we heard from President Obama that hope and change was coming. They did not lie. They told the truth. Hope and change did come. That favored them and their agenda, but it did not help the American people. I won't call them liars. I will say that they were speaking truth to us in our face. We just didn't understand the semantics involved. That being
I would
said,
agree.
what's that?
I said I would agree.
Okay. So my point to you, Dominica, is that, out of all of this, Trump's doing his part. And we can say it's easy to get rid of one. But we have several former and currently ramping up candidates for federal office here on this show all the time. We can say we're going to get rid of them. Well, that's why we're here. We're here to replace them. We're volunteering, like we're spending our time to do that. But what is it going to take for us to win? And it's going to take some catastrophic change. It's not that simple. Alan, coming to you. I mean, Trump's push, he's making it public. He wants this all the way to the Supreme Court. Let's roll. You're coming after a former seated, currently seated, going to be seated again president. Let's have this conversation. This guy is saying the courts have failed.
I've heard time and time again, I've heard Biden say the government failed you. He's been in the government for how long? You take Pelosi and all these people that have been in government. Well, the courts have failed us. And Trump is doing the only thing, well, not the only thing. He does have a social media network coming up. But in order to give people the hope they need, to show people that you don't have to sit down and like it. You don't have to sit down, shut up and behave. Stand up, raise your voice, and we will get on board this. And I'm hoping out of Trump's lawsuit over these people, the big techs, that what's going to happen is class action lawsuits are going to come out of this from citizens across the country. So we can hit Facebook and Twitter right where that counts the most, the wallet. Because that's the only thing they care about is the wallet. You hit them in the wallet, they take notice. Trump hits them pretty hard, takes a chunk from them, shuts them up, gets them off our back. Then we can come in right behind and throw up, I don't know, 2 million class action lawsuits against them for censoring patriot groups. I've had my profile completely deleted by Facebook. I mean, not kicked off. They took it all. I can't even get my old pictures from it.
Well, Alan, and I'm gonna step in for a minute. Let's be very, very honest. None of us are walking around with the kind of money to entertain the money it would take to go after big tech. And so I would challenge all of the lawyers that watch this, those that are on the show, those that visit the show, those that have been on the show. If you have an affiliate or if you or yourself are willing to be a representative of a class action, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to me directly. If you can't find me, well, that's just stupid because it's very easy to find me. Reach out to me. Let's talk about it from a constitutional law perspective. I'll give you the case. I'll hand it to you, and you can do the work. And then as a organizational leadership master's recipient in business, I will help you produce the advertising campaign to make sure that anybody that has ever been put in Facebook jail will sign on and give you the platform for your class action. That being said, I am calling on any lawyer that will entertain the gracias and experience that it will take to do this. Now, I know there's a lot of lawyers here that don't have expertise in the class action law, and that's fine, but you know somebody that does. So I would like my phone to ring with that lawyer, and when that happens, we will revisit that topic here on the show. Alan, I assure you, if we find that one that will stand up, I will give them the guidance of the Constitution. That is one thing that I absolutely am passionate about.
I've actually had people reach out to Linwood and stuff like this about suing Stacey Abrams, the mayor of Atlanta, for pressuring the Major League Baseball to pull the All-Star game and the NBL draft out of
I'm
Atlanta.
going to push back with that. That to me, just outright, Alan, I'm going to say that's a bullshit lawsuit. Going after Stacey, she's small fry. That's bottom of the barrel. She is reacting to a situation that's been placed in front of her, and so are we. So she's our equal in this. She's not the threat in this.
For doing that isn't to. I wasn't affected by it, but all those businesses in Atlanta that lost all the revenue that could have saved them and kept them.
Right, I understand that, but I'm not going to give Stacey Abrams that much power. I'm not going to do it. It was not her. I will not confess that she is that powerful. She does not have that power in this state.
Thumbs up.
Stacey Abrams.
No, I don't like that. I don't like her.
No.
She does not have that power in this state, period.
Nope.
She was backed by somebody else that funded it. She was backed by sleeper cells that are running it. If you want to spend your money on a freaking lawsuit, let's go after the source.
Yep.
Let's go after the source, because everybody else windows away when the source is exposed. We all know the source, Alan. We know the source. We've got this. We know how to do it. We know how to do it constitutionally. We need a lawyer that is bar certified in the state of Georgia that will take the case on a civil retainer without economic involvement on the forefront, that will go for the throat based on witness accounts alone. There is somebody out there that went to law school because they were passionate about defending the law. They're not worried about a paycheck. They're worried about defending the law. I want that lawyer to call me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Brian Sawinski, coming to you. I think we beat lawsuits to death.
You hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. What would you like me to talk on?
Well, I was getting ready to do that, but the point, we beat lawsuits to death, and y'all know when it comes to law, I start getting argumentative and loud and start prosecuting and defending and all this other stuff, right? Law is very, very one of my big passions. But so breaking news today, hot topic, COVID-19, Delta strand rates climbing through the roof, up 59.6%, 48% of Americans currently vaccinated. So now the unvaccinated are considered threats. University systems, the likes of Purdue, are now saying that unvaccinated students must provide their own way to get their education. Ryan, makes me want to cuss, so I'm gonna let you talk instead.
Well, it doesn't make me want to cuss. It's just we could have told you this was going to happen. Okay. Anything they can do to put more control, the government can do to put more control over the people, they will try. And they're trying to do it now based on fear. And quite honestly, I don't think it's going to work. I think people are starting to see through this stuff that they're doing. I mean, you have Fauci that's all over the place on we should wear masks, we shouldn't wear masks, we should be within 6 feet, we don't need to be 6 feet. If you've been vaccinated, you'd be fine. If you haven't been vaccinated, you still should be fine. If you're underage of 12, you should wear a mask, or you don't need to wear a mask. They're all over the place. They're not following the science. 99.9% of the people out there who get this survive. The ones that have problems are the ones that have existing conditions, such as they might have immune system problems, or being treated for cancer or anything like that.
And Brian, I think we've done all that. Like everything you just said, and I'm not trying to be rude, but we've had that conversation. Like everybody's had that conversation. The whole world has had that conversation. The conversation now is that the target is now being placed on the back of those that say, this is my body. Now, on the Democratic side of this conversation, my body, my choice. I'm going to kill a baby.
Correct.
But when it comes to vaccines, my body, my choice. Now I'm being banned from attending university. I'm being told that I can't leave the country without submitting to a government test. I'm being told that my children may not be able to return to the educational system. Unless
I
they
think
get
there's
the
I think
vaccine.
there's a class action lawsuit there.
That's my point.
It
That's
started
my point.
already, guys. It
I
started
know it's already
already.
started. I know it's already started. But listen, overwhelming the court. Listen, we can sit back and say, well, this person sued.
Yeah.
That was the point of me bringing up, Trump's case. But why haven't any of us sued? Because we don't have the damn money to do it. We can't spare our families. And that is the way this system is rigged. It is rigged that we will bow because we are broke, we are laborers, and we work. We can't afford the attorneys that could win the case. The attorneys that we could afford wouldn't make it out of their local district court because they don't have enough freaking clout. So this is why I opened the show saying, I want an attorney that went to law school to defend the law, to go on the record with us. And I'm begging all of my panelists, every single one of you and every one of my viewers to support this lawyer, whether it's crowdfunding, whatever it is. I want a lawyer to go on record that says, I am bar certified and I am going to represent the people. You've got a lawyer representing Trump, but I got a problem with that because that lawyer didn't file a class action lawsuit on behalf of the people. They filed a lawsuit on behalf of Trump, who has the money to pay them. So I take exception to that lawyer.
Well, you
That
can
lawyer-
always add on. You can always add on to that, Danny, by filing an amicus brief and add on to that, and then ask the judge to join them. That's a
Absolutely.
possibility.
And you could take the amicus brief, but what are the chances that would even freaking fly anywhere in the state of Georgia right now? Slim to none.
Little and none.
Exactly. So instead of wasting time going through that litigation, which is a 9-month freaking process to get a nil result, the point of the matter is, if you can find a heavy hitter that says, I am bar certified, the name Lynn Wood came up early. That's great. You're doing great work. But why haven't you filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of the American people? Just that simple. That's simple. Not a single lawyer, not one, has filed a class action on behalf of the American people. I want my viewers and my panelists to understand that.
Right, Reiner
That is a
Fulmich.
massive failure in those that took an oath to defend the law. Go ahead, Dominica.
Reiner Fulmich. That's just what had come across my desk a few days ago. That's what they're doing. The Nuremberg trials 2.0 or for 2021.
Name that lawyer again.
Reiner Fulmich.
Out of where?
He's actually based out of California and out of Germany. So he's doing it dually. Yeah.
I would be interested in reviewing what he filed. Was it class action titled to the federal courts on behalf of the American people? That is my question.
That's what it states.
What does it state? Can you quote it? Are you reading it?
Gotta pull it back up.
Okay, so while you work on that, I'm gonna come over to Derrick.
Okay.
Derrick, this is a hot topic, man. We're slinging dirt. Josie, I see you there. I'm coming to you next. This is hot solely because I want our viewers to understand where the failure is in all of this. We can point fingers and we can say, oh, Biden and oh, Kamala. And, on the other side, they can say, oh, Trump. And we can say, oh, well, there's attorneys doing great things. No, there's attorneys doing great things for certain people that are getting paid very well to do great things for certain people. I am challenging that there is not a single lawsuit in the federal courts that is class action on behalf of the entire nation. That is what I am saying. Derrick, your opinion.
Well, first off, the way the process works, somebody has to file a lawsuit first, a la Trump. Then your lawsuit has to get certified by a judge as to whether or not it can be class action. And I think that's the phase that Trump's lawsuit is in. But I think what people are failing to understand, what makes this unique in a particular case of President Trump, is because of something that Congress did themselves, which I think is going to be play a big factor in this, and that is the Section 230 protections for big tech that allows big tech to unilaterally determine how they're going to handle certain content, and at the same token gives them protection from reprisal. And that may have been the case why there has not been another lawsuit. I think Trump, being there in the White House, understood it. I think him being the president and being shut down, understood it. One of the key statements that he made was, if they can do what they have done to me, they can do it to you. So, maybe no one else, it takes big bucks to go up against big tech. And I personally, I just don't think that there has been a lot. Look, we can't even get rhinos to understand that Vernon Jones, rhino supporters understand that Vernon Jones is a rhino. So you think we were going to be able to get people to sign on and get behind suing big tech when people like Doug Collins, who came out and spoke on behalf of big tech, saying, oh no, Section 230, nah, it's all good. They're not running a monopoly. Everything is copacetic. And it was Tucker Carlson who put him and Mike Lee and two other guys on blast for a full 15 minutes on his show about Section 230. So Section 230 is why, Alan, you got shut down. Okay. Section 230 is why, while I'm still on YouTube and still on Twitter and Facebook, is why I am demonetized. It is why I have been in jail countless times, 30-day stints. YouTube just threatened to shut me down completely. The only reason that has not happened to me is I learned from my mistakes. I know what to say and what not to say, and I know how to say it to still make the point. I do what they did in the Bible. I'll speak in parables when necessary. Okay, so that's just it. So Trump is uniquely suited for bringing this case, and understand something. Josie and I, we can't say nothing to a rhino supporter about Vernon Jones. But if Donald Trump says jump, those rhino supporters that love Trump but still don't understand that they are the ones that put the rhinos in office that backstab Trump time and time again, they will still jump because Trump said it. But they still have not had the wool pulled back from over their eyes, or their heads pulled out of their rear ends, so that they can wipe their eyes and see exactly how they are complicit and how Trump was defeated. You got people still cheering for Brian Kemp and using Ratzenberger as a scapegoat. I mean, how stupid can you be?
Okay, so you said a whole lot there, Derrick. Here's the truth. I don't disagree with you on the process that Trump is opening the door for much more. But opening the door and understanding the process doesn't take the liability away from the legal class that has degrees in law to step up to the plate and do the right thing. That's point one.
I got to jump in there just real quick. CDA 230, research SESTA and FOSTA.
Okay, quote the case.
SESTA, SESTA, and FOSTA, FOSTA. Those were two different acts. They were enacted based off of slowing down like internet sex trafficking and stuff like that. This is when, let's say, Backpage and they did what they did with Craigslist and stuff like that. But this is where this trickle down actually started, because SESTA and FOSTA, which is an act that he actually enacted, took away from publishers actually being liable for the content of sort. It changed CDA 230 on a legal standpoint. I'm not a lawyer. However, that's something to actually delve into to see what actually changed it. You're looking at SESTA and FOSTA. It was supposed to be looked at as an internet sex trafficking law, right? But however, the way they worded the laws, the way that it was actually verbalized, they made Facebook liable and all of these big tech companies liable for the content that the users posted. It took away a portion of CDA 230, and a lot of people didn't see it happen. But that's why they're able to play this way. So I'm all for all of the lawsuits, but whoever advised him to sign this particular one didn't understand some of the trickle down that was going to happen. Because when you make the publishers responsible for the user content, then you make the publishers responsible for the user content. So
right, I get all of that. I'm not arguing that, and I'm not lawsuit happy. I'm not lawsuit happy. So just go with me through the show and understand that I'm on a path, and I'm angry. I'm mad as hell. That's the truth. I am. But the liability in this is not in the court. There is action in the court, but the liability is not in the court. What I am talking about is the actionable things that could be affected and impacted if those that are bar certified did the right thing. They are number one on my list right now. Those that are bar certified that know how to do and could do the right thing for the American people have failed. Okay? We're talking about the first line of defense. We know not to trust politicians. We know not to trust Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green Party, Tea Party, all of them. We know because they're in this incestuous pot of power. We get that. We're not.
You know what they're gonna say, Danny?
What's that?
We've done it before. We actually tried for a class action. We went forth
and it was shut down.
Because you know why? It would take too much, like you said, it would take too much money. Because they will be held up in the courts.
Right. But we're going to move on. That's why I said they're the first ones on my list tonight. I'm not done with my list.
Okay.
For the sake of saving time, Josie, I want to come to you. This is important to us right now. Okay, all of us. CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, for the love of Pete, goodness gracious, they are going on and on and on about the border crisis that Trump tried to fix. And now Biden's like, cool, we're just going to take all the kids, put them on military bases, because in the military bases, everything's classified. They don't have to tell anybody anything that's going on. So these kids just vanished, and God knows who's in control. Josie, please give us your advisory counsel and your opinion on what is really going on. Why are these kids being shoved into military installations?
Well, it looks like our military now, they become babysitters, right? They are taking care of children now. Do you believe that? It reminds me, you know, that kind of humiliation that some tyrants and dictators put on behalf of or in the back of our proud heroes, our militaries. So this is very, very bad. I mean, it reminds me that, you know, the humiliation that Hugo Chavez did to so many of them, that they have to end up resigning and quitting and leaving the country. So I don't know if this is the purpose right here with the branch, right? Could be, I don't know. But the border, well, you said it all. I mean, he tried to fix it. They don't care now, but they are worried now on what's going on in Cuba, you know. Come on. If you don't control your border, the south border with wall that you can, you know, physical control, how can you prevent an avalanche of people coming into the coast of South Florida in boats, open, you know?
But Josie, is it fair to say that they don't want to prevent any of this?
No.
Is it fair to say that they're inviting it? They want it?
I do you want me to give you my analysis of the whole situation?
Yes, Josie,
Okay.
it's my show.
Here.
Stop censoring yourself. Damn it, speak.
Here is my analysis. What they're doing is they are promoting like you know, a lot of people, a lot of Latinos cook with cook pressure, right? The cooking pressure, and you load it up until suddenly that explodes, right? The air comes out. So this situation, what they're trying to do is inside they are cleaning up the military. They wanted to know who stand with the regime or with the dictator or the tyrant in this case, on who's gonna be siding with the people. So those one in the military who are siding with the people, they're gonna be either killed or they're gonna be you know, thrown out of the country, exiliated somewhere else. Well, we can say here in the United States. How they could be spies by the Cuba regime sending over here as a victims of the process, the revolutionary and the uprising process in Cuba. This is very, I mean, this lefty, they use a lot of psychology to implement what they want and to reach the goal that they want. If they want to send spies over here, this is the perfect way to send those high intelligent people who are in the military becoming here as a victims, and they, you know, like a double spy. They're sending information over there and over here. We remember
Right, so the number one tactic in psychological warfare: create a crisis, to investigate a crisis, to plan a crisis, to enact a crisis, to implement a crisis, and then to be the savior at the end of the crisis. Right. So, like,
yes,
exactly.
That one.
I absolutely get that.
The civil one is they are trying. The Democrats here is going to be beneficiary for the Biden administration to bring more people with the socialist mentality. Those people who are going to be leaving Cuba like a regular people, citizen, regular people like you and me. They are not politicians. What they're looking when they come here to the United States, they're looking for freebies and goodies. You know, they come with the mentality the mentality of the government is going to provide me for food. It's going to provide me residence, not only the people, the place that I'm going to live, and they're not looking forward to contribute with the country. They are coming here, and a year, one day after they get here, they already have the residency, the permanent residency. And then if they marry an American, in 2 years, they become citizens. And you know what happened when they become citizens, right? They vote. And who do you think they're going to be voting if the administration in South Florida, they give them a lot of free stuff? They're not going to be voting for the Republican. They're going to end up voting for the Democrats, regardless that they escaping from the socialist organization or from a socialist country or communist country. They're going to end up voting for the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party is the one who's going to keep on providing them what they were receiving for free back in their country in
Okay, hold
Cuba.
on. I gotta get sound controls on this show where when people start stealing thunder, I can play hell, it was cold in the middle of the night and there was change. Thunderstruck, right? I'm gonna start playing Thunderstruck when y'all steal thunders from me. Anyway, Josie, thank you for your contribution. We're coming back to you, but we're gonna shift. Alan Hutchinson, Josie just laid it out, right? She just put it all out there. All of it. It's just real. It's simple. It's clear to her. She sees it. We all see it. I don't want censorship on the show, folks. If you feel it, you think it, and you know it, and you can back it up. Speak truth. Speak truth. To do anything different is to violate where your faith lies. So Alan, in this whole border situation, right? And I think we've covered that enough. Now we go to Cuba. And in Cuba, what is interesting is that people, like on CNN earlier this evening, CNN was comparing the reaction of Governor DeSantis to Cuba to Black Lives Matter. And the way that he responded to Black Lives Matter was different than that of the Cuban crisis. And they're protesting, blocking the streets, so on and so forth. But I think one mistake that the media has made was that Black Lives Matter was burning freaking buildings, busting out freaking windshields on cars, causing terrorism, scaring the hell out of people's children, sending people into fear where they had to lock and blockade, arm themselves for personal defense. The Cubans just blocked a couple traffic lights. And Governor DeSantis understands that. But now he's on the chopping block of being a choice-based racist. Your comments, Alan.
Well, Black Lives Matter really means certain Black Lives Matters. What's going on in Cuba?
Say that one more time, Alan. Say that one more time. I need that on the record. Say that again. I've never heard that. Say that again.
Please do. I have to say something.
Certain Black Lives Matters. They don't. BLM doesn't care about black.
So it's CBLM. So from now on, it is CBLM. I need everybody to own that. It is now CBLM.
Absolutely.
We coined that tonight.
I'm with it.
Go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry.
They only care. BLM only cares when a black person is killed by a white person or a cop, especially. If they really cared with their $100 million that they've raked in with donations, they would be working on black crimes in the inner cities. They would be giving scholarship. They would be helping build communities.
They would be working on with Black Lives, period. Alan, yeah. I completely agree with you. I'm sorry. That's but right. when you saw the lady, one of the co-founders, and she went out and bought what, $3 million worth of houses?
3 houses, 2 women. And well, the thing with this and comparing the Cuban crisis right now is these people want freedom. They don't want free stuff. These people, Cubans, they work. They don't hoody-do. They don't wander around aimlessly. They're workers.
Hold on. I got to step in because Josie's got a sidewind to this, but I'm going to tell you what my opinion is. And my opinion in this, and we're having a great conversation. I love this, guys. But if I cut you off, get over it. I'm the host. So, the point of the matter is, listen, the Cubans are not fighting for freedom. They're fighting against where we are headed.
Exactly.
Let me say that one more time. They're not fighting for freedom. They're fighting against where we are headed.
Communism. They've been under Fidel Castro.
The only thing that has defended the Cuban islands is our nation, and our nation is folding. The Cubans are in crisis, right? Because America is in crisis.
Yes.
I'm going to go to Josie. I'm going to let Josie go. She put her finger up. Come on, Josie.
Alan, I know, I love you, right? But I need to.
We can't hear you, Josie. Is that on my end or her? I can't hear Josie.
That's on her end. I can't hear anything either.
Josie, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. All right. So folks, as she's talking, Alan, I'm gonna come back to you and let you finish your statement.
Well, Cuba has been under the finger, the thumb of Fidel Castro and his people for 62 years now. And now they've had enough. They want what we have. Think about all these countries across the world: Japan, China, Iran, Cuba, all these countries that are protesting. They're not waving communist flags, they're waving our flag because they want what we have. They want the freedoms we have. Most Cubans, when they come to America, they don't vote Democrat. The numbers say they vote Republican because they've left that regime for what we have, and they like what we have here. They like our democracy. They like our republic, as it's supposed to be. They like the ability to go shopping when they want to. They don't want to have to choke their pigs that they've been growing or raising in their house quietly for months so that nobody hears a squeal, so they don't have the cops show up and take their pig from them. Because that's
one second. You come here to America, right?
Hey, Josie,
Yeah.
we haven't been able to hear you this whole time. So we continued in conversation. We're going to come back to you, but Alan's in the middle of his statement.
So I have found out from friends of mine who are from Cuba that when they raise a hog in their house, little pig for food, to kill this thing, they have to literally choke it so it can't squeal, because if a neighbor hears it, they'll call and they will come and take the pig and arrest you for growing or raising a pig for food illegally. They don't want that. They want to come here and be able to work farms. They want to do whatever they, to make a living. And yes, the numbers show they're Republicans. They do not vote. Why do you think Biden said today, or his, who was that said that today? Department of Homeland Security guy, I can't think of his name. Do not cross the waters. You will not be welcomed. You will not be received.
Sure.
Come through Texas.
Sure. From that one guy's mouth. But
So,
then we live in a country
the
where
president of Haiti was assassinated.
right. At the end of the day, we're a duty-bound country. If they make it through international waters within 18 miles of our shore, we're duty-bound by the Coast Guard. We're going to rescue them anyway. So those are empty threats. That's misleading information. It's simply being stated to attempt to overthwart them and keep them out. But the second they're within 18 miles, we're going to bring them in any damn way. Look what we're doing in Mexico. We're going to pick up the kids. We're going to hire the United States Army and Marine Corps to babysit children. We're going to hand out Pop-Tarts, Gatorade. We're going to have movie nights on Thursdays, freaking spades tournament on Friday, and bingo on freaking Saturday. Because that's what my service, that's what Derrick's service, that's what it amounts to.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, disagree,
y'all remember
Derrick,
them Haitians? Y'all remember them Haitians? What's it called? A Mariel boat lift or something? And Dominica, you probably wasn't even born back then.
Hey.
Alan, you and Josie weren't either, a whole bunch of Haitians.
Let me go back. Let me go back to
this
Alan.
country. They turned them suckers around.
Hey, Alan, you know
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Derrick's got it right now. Leave it with Derrick.
Segregation Jim Crow Joe will allow a bunch of people coming into this country that will speak truth to power like Josie does about the wickedness of communism, Marxism, socialism, whatever.
Now, Derrick, I'm going to stop you because you might have misunderstood what I was saying. If they're within 18 miles, we're going to take them in. I didn't say we were going to treat them right. Hold on a second. I didn't say we were going to treat them right. I just prefaced it by saying we're putting their kids on military bases. So these people that
Man.
come within 18 miles, guess where you're going? To basic damn training. Your ass is going to a military base.
Nah, man, I don't trust the government to let them do any of that. Hey, look, I posted a meme, and y'all ought to find this funny. That boy Duarte, the guy president of the Philippines, saying if you don't get vaccinated, you will be arrested. Look, Dominica, compared to them 3 people you mentioned, talking about Madagascar,
Come on,
Haiti,
yo.
etc. That
It's
dude,
4.
Duarte,
Burundi.
okay.
I found the other one.
All right. Well, that guy has international job security. Okay. He's with the party line. Joe Biden, now leave him alone. Okay. He go push that vaccine. So he's got job security as a president.
Oh my God. No, you gotta stop that.
Hold on. We have a limited amount of time.
Y'all slow.
No, we're not slow. I caught it. Listen, I'm trying,
Let me
Derrick.
answer. Let me address something
Josie,
quickly.
you'll get your time in a moment. Hold on a second. I'm gonna let you go after Alan. I know you want to fight. I'm gonna let you go after Alan. Hold on a damn minute. We're gonna bring some order back to this thing here.
Well,
folks, what I am trying to say is that yes, there was a statement made that the Cubans shouldn't come here. Well, I mean, that's been said so many times since the inception of our nation. The difference is it's not going to be good for you. Well, hell, it's not good for us Americans either. So yeah, our friends in Cuba, you might want to stay your ass over there. But if they do bring themselves this way, policy in the United States Coast Guard is that they must be rescued and brought ashore. Now, what is the default? Department of Homeland Security has showed us that if you are here unauthorized, undocumented, illegal, whatever the hell you want to damn call it, they're going to lock you up on a military base that is meant to house our service members, their families, and train them for combat abroad, not at home. Meanwhile,
Mr.
600, 1,000, 2,000 people being held on a base where people with military skill that should be involved in other issues like the onset and oncoming Iran crisis, the North Korean crisis that is unfolding in a mockery to President Biden, the Russian threats, unparalleled, directly to this nation and their coalition. Our military might that we are paying for. Number one controversy in Congress and spending has been hired to be the Uber of babysitting. I coined that. So if Uber starts babysitting services, I am demanding 10% tonight. Every transaction.
If you saw the pictures at the border from the beginning, they look like little burritos. That is so terrible. It's kind of funny, but it's really not. Like,
right, but that's
on,
my point.
Doing?
That is my point. Is that the Cubans coming here, these threats, right? So I want all the viewers to understand. You're watching these highfalutin, powerful people with titles and all this other stuff say these things from the top. Don't come here. You know, you're not welcome here. Don't leave your country here. The truth is, that's all smoke and mirrors. What they want is for them to come. Why? Because they have a place for them already. They've already established what we call FEMA camps. They've already established them inside military installations. What are they going to do with that? Train them. And then what do? They let them go as children and victims into our society. Why? To influence the other people in the society that are like them. And when they influence that society, which is what now at 52% of the US that is unvaccinated, what happens then? They start influencing you to follow the government. Why? Because their entire life, all they've done is been obedient to a fucking government.
Until they came over here. Wait a minute now, Daddy. Didn't they leave the government?
The writing on the wall is clear. It doesn't matter whether they left the government or not. What matters is that they have years and years and years of knowing nothing but indoctrination. And our government is known as being years and years and years more advanced in being able to indoctrinate. So if they leave a nation where they were already victims of indoctrination and they come to the nation that is best at indoctrinating, then all they're going to do is turn them up to another freaking soul. And guess what's next? Planes crash into more buildings, and now it's Cuba's fault.
Well, I'm gonna finish
I'm
up.
going to Josie. I need a break. I'm
Sorry.
seriously, I
That
need a
was
break.
fun.
It is Josie's turn. It's Josie's turn.
Ale, you know I love you, brother. You know that I love you. But let me clarify a little bit the little confusion that is in the air. There is two set of Cubans, okay? Those one who came before the 90s, those are the hard workers. Those are the one that you describe. I'm talking about the Cubans right now, those one who are coming right now. Those are the one that are government dependent because they were formed, educated into that kind of mentality and style, lifestyle. Okay, so that's why I say, you know, I love you a lot, man. But in this case, those one who are coming today, they even come with the mentality of, I want to be American citizen, but if someday America has a war between Cuba and America, I'm going to be fighting for the defense of Cuba, regardless they are going to be Americans, which is different from, in my case, because it took me so long and so much money and so much sacrifice to become an American. The moment that I became American, one of the questions was, when the interview is, if America has a conflict with Venezuela, who will you defend? And I have to think about the answer. I have to say, well, America is my country now. I have to defend America because I am becoming an American. So when you find those people today, they already are coming here trained to be traitors, trained to be the government dependents. They're trained to not do what the American gray way of American living and mentality and doing things America is. Thank you.
Beautiful,
Josie,
Josie.
I have a question for you, please.
Josie, that was absolutely beautiful. Listen, folks, I'm gonna lay some clear guidelines here. If I call on you, you can step in. Okay? Yeah, I'm gonna knock you back a little bit. All right. We do have a time limit, folks, but I am going to allow the show to run over tonight. We had made a decision that we were going to cut this thing back to an hour. It's got to go over because we still have other pieces to cover tonight that is important. So stay with me. Don't go anywhere. Dominica, you're going to get your chance. It's coming. It's coming. Just wait. Folks, tonight we have covered some of the most contentious topics, but I want you to understand the evidence of one thing, that everybody on this show is a conservative, a Republican. And look how many disagreements and scattered brain things took place in 1 hour. Isn't that amazing? We can do that, and we're not the powerful. And we're not the sheep. So imagine how scatterbrained you are with the powerful talking to you when you're sheep. It's unbelievable the mess that some people are believing. The divisiveness between colors. God created blue and red, but we took it and said, no, that's a political party. Well, originally, we didn't even look at it that way. We thought it was the Crips and the Bloods. Now we step back just a little bit more. Now you're either a donkey or an elephant. It's not very pleasant to identify yourself as a civil human. Both of them just pooping on the street. We identify ourselves as Brown Man Clan or Dementia Man Clan. But the word clan just a few years ago was like terrifying because he had to wear like toilet paper rolls and stuff and dance around fires and do weird things. Folks, listen to me. This is how they will create the second Civil War. Because we become so passionate about our one side that we forget the simple implications of the choices that we're making. So tonight, in rare form, I'm going to go around the table. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes. We are talking about the Second Civil War. That's the only bait I'm giving you. And I'm going to allow you to speak your piece, and I will close with mine. In true fashion, Alan Hutchinson, you're on my top left at the table. We're talking about the Second Civil War. You have 2 minutes.
I've been watching everything going on for the last several years, almost a decade now, with all the patriots, the militias. I've been part of all of that. I've been watching all of the BLM, the Antifas. I get stuff sent to me on a daily basis. It just floods my stuff. The truth is that the government is trying to keep us divided. Divided we fall, united we stand. As long as they can keep us arguing amongst ourselves, we cannot unite. We cannot, people will not set their egos aside. They won't set their, they have to have the rank in a group. They have to, whatever the case may be, egos get in the way of everything that we want to do to unite people. Without the united, we can't stand. And we can't beat a military. But then again, will the military, if we have to do the Civil War, whose side are they going to be on? They took an oath to defend the Constitution. We'll find out if it happens, and I pray it never comes to our soil. Never. Never do I ever want to take another American's life in that fashion. Seen it. Don't want to do it. Don't want to go there.
Alan Hutchinson, thank you for joining us tonight. As always, brother, we appreciate your input, your advisory counsel, and your observations. And I am also grateful that you didn't send any text messages last night. Brian Slawinski, 2 minutes.
Wow. Well,
Too soon?
I don't think I can keep it 2 minutes, but I'll try. Again, it comes down to they're trying to divide us, make us fight with one another, but our true fight is with our government, a government that is constantly dividing us and not working for we the people. They work for us. We don't work for them. It's kind of like the movie with the ants, where the grasshoppers, there's only a few of the grasshoppers. That's the government, grasshoppers. And we the people are the ants. And there's enough of us to take care of this, but they do everything they can to keep us divided and fighting among each other. And if we can actually stop talking about color, whether it be black, white, yellow, brown, and actually talking not that kind of race, but talk about the human race, which we are, and unite together, we can defeat this crap.
Brother Brian, good to see your face. Good to see you happy. And thank you, as always, for your contribution.
Thank you.
To the show, and your dedication to the coalition. You're a big deal, and you're helping a lot of people. And I pray God honors you for that as time comes along. Josie Cruz, 2 minutes.
We don't want to go there, but they are pushing us to be there. They are pushing, and pushing. We are under invasion. It started in the south border. I can predict the next one is going to be Florida and Georgia, the East Coast with the Cuban crisis. We had it 2 years ago with with Puerto Rico in Hurricane Maria. The government over there didn't fix anything, making sure that all these Puerto Ricans came to Georgia and Florida because they wanted to change the political decision in those two states. Texas is under attack today with a lot of Venezuelans crossing the border illegally. And actually 2 days ago, there were being confrontation in the border with the drug lords and the traffickings from Venezuela. If you guys didn't know about that. And the only thing that is missing here is we being invaded by the north, in the north border, which is Canada. And don't be surprised if that's going to be the next one. We are under attack. They want to destroy our country. They want to destroy our way of living. And that's the whole planet goal is to bend America to submit our country to what they want and what they need financially.
Josie Cruz, I love you, sister. I do. And I love your passion, your fire, your heart, your ambition. And I am so glad that you have made it here to this country in which I have served to defend, and that you have pledged to commit your life's work to. And I am forever in your debt. Thank you. Dominica, 2 minutes. You're on mute, darling.
Oh, sorry. I believe that what we have come into in today's times is a phrase that I actually may have coined this morning. We are looking at potentially the next civil world. And I say that because it something told me too. It's not just about the civilians, it's about everyone. My husband served as a vet in the Navy. He was a sonar technician. And with that being said, we, with our combined IQ, we were over 300. So we just sit back and we observe everything as it is happening. And what we have seen doesn't serve any justice. It's not okay. Okay. With the last 5 presidents, or last 3 or 4 presidents, whether it was Haiti, Madagascar, or Tanzania, if you don't agree with the narrative, you die. So, with that being said, there's lines drawn in the sand, and they're very sad lines. And those lines mean, if you stand for what you believe in, you may die.
Dominica, thank you. I appreciate you, my sister. I look forward to speaking with you more about topics off of the show and on the show, and having you here on the show. And I love to hear your input. But I would say that what you just added there, I would be remiss if I weren't to mention this. As you explained, that if you stand for what you believe in, then you will die. My response to that statement is, well said. And that's exactly what we did to Jesus.
Amen.
Derrick, coming to you, 2 minutes, my brother.
Well, the fight is simple for me. I know who the enemy is. It is the one that is our greatest enemy. That is the one that is within our circle. And those are Rhino supporters. They don't know that they are enemies. They are enemies, some of them out of ignorance, some of them willfully. Today, I posted that there has been found now irrefutable, incontrovertible proof of fraud in Georgia's election and ballots. Yet you still have people who will support Kemp to the bitter end, not realizing that if you have a leader that was not aware of what Ratzenberger was doing, that was not aware of what the House was doing, that was not aware of the deal that was made, what type of a leader is that? I watched the documentary last night, and I'm gonna shut up, on General Hannibal, the only general in recorded history, and I qualified it, but most likely in all of mankind's history, to kill 60,000 men, Romans, in one day. A Carthaginian. He hated the Romans with a vengeance. But in killing them, he defeated that enemy incrementally on that day, strategically. And the only way we are going to win this battle is if we get rid of the enemies within the Republican Party. Because bar none, the Republican Party is the only party in a position, by virtue of, and Dominica, you and I talked about this today already, by virtue of the fact of the two-party lock that they have on our election process in this country. The Republican Party is the only party that can do it, but we need to purge rhinos. There is no other way. Otherwise, if you can't accomplish that, you may as well just sit back and do like I see Christians in church, wait on Jesus.
Without works doesn't work. I'd like to, I'm sorry, Danny. What would you say, Derrick? How would you go about that then? How are we purging them?
By doing this show.
I'm gonna step in.
By doing this show.
Okay.
And I'm gonna agree that by doing this show, but in doing this show and everything else that we're doing, the offices that we have all volunteered to run for and the presentations that we've also agreed to follow a segment of order. So in that, let's stay with the order of the show, please. Derrick, I appreciate you. You're my brother and I love you. You are very dear to me, and especially in my life, and I hope you understand that. Beyond all else, your input is phenomenal. We've argued, but at the end of the day, we come back to the same table and we still eat. Folks, tonight, that's what I need you to understand. We can fuss, we can argue, we can carry on. Y'all can be mad at me about the language I use on the show tonight, but you are not finna treat me like you haven't watched something on TV that you were laughing at to use the same language. You are not finna treat me like you haven't jammed your thumb in the door and used the same language. You are not finna treat me like you haven't been irritated, mad at a gas pump because of the prices or your car got declined and use the same language. You are not getting ready to pull that off with me. I'm telling you right now. I've been around the world to 37 countries. That is not going to work. So if that is your judgment of the show tonight, my language, in the words of the best man that could say it, fork you. That was his way of trying to get rid of the bad language. So my words, fork you. Now, that being said, today, what we actually covered on this show is what we call the blame game. We went around talking about everything that is going on currently and who we could blame for it. I want to close the show in order with who I blame. And I just want you to think about it. It doesn't mean I'm right. I am fully capable of being wrong, folks. I am fully capable of being a failure as a father. I've done it. I am fully capable of failing as being a husband. I have done it. I am fully capable of failing my parents. I have done it. And it tortured me to my core. I am capable of failing. But these are just my thoughts. When I look at the institution that built this nation, this country, I look at our founding fathers, and I look at everything that they put into place. I look at their charge to those that understood law, that understood regulation, that could learn it, that could practice it, that could perform it. So as this union grows, all the states coming together in union, ratifying our Constitution, building the amendments, having these conversations, presidents in place, I believe that they intended for lawyers to defend this land, not the military, because they thought our military might would be so strong and so advanced that nobody would dare come after us, and that the integrity of those that practice the law and the integrity that practice the pulpit would be on point. So the first one I blame in this nation, our broken institution, is lawyers that have taken an oath and thought that it was a job where they could open their practice and do accident, reconstruction, injury law, and divorce law, and family law, and dental law, and medical practice law, malpractice law, pharmaceutical law, vehicle law, business law, just all these different categories of law. Damn it, you took an oath to defend the Constitution first. And you went to school and you earned your right to sit at that table in any courtroom, whether it be city, county, state, or federal, that you would represent your defendant or your plaintiff. My first line is to blame lawyers. You misunderstand your oath and your profession. You got into the job for the money, the security of your practice, because everybody needs a lawyer. That's what they tell you. In the world that we're going in, a lawyer will never run out of a job. That's the truth. Your retainers are guarantees, your fees, your hourly wages, all of that is there. I get it. I understand. That's tempting. COVID's hard. You got a stimulus check too. But true story, you're the first one I blame. Every one of you that is bar certified in every state in this nation, I'm not just talking about Georgia, I blame every single one of you. Because you are one of two things. You either one, the lawyer that taught the tricksters how to trick, or you're the lawyer that failed to defend the people from being tricked. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, and I'm not going to say I'm sorry. The second thing that I blame is parents. I'm blaming parents all the way back to the times of Jesus to present. How in God's name could you allow your child to rise to a place of power in which they make these types of decisions? And they govern over people in tyranny. And yet you called yourself a mother or a father at their second and third birthday party. You were proud when they graduated elementary school. You were proud when they walked across that high school stage, and now they're a freaking monster. You failed. You failed. Some people would defend you and say, well, your children grew to an age of maturity and they made their own decisions. It's not your fault. No, damn that. I don't accept that. Because all of our knees will bow before King Jesus. All of our sins crucified him. He was led by one, and we are all led by many. How are all of us on this side of the table? Whereas we have people tormenting our nation and those abroad. It's your fault. Either one, you contributed to this, or two, you ignored it, or three, you were ignorant to how to raise a child. Keep in mind, folks, I said, I take this all the way back to the times of Jesus. So if you take that personally right now, when that burns in your chest a little bit, I'm not saying sorry. I'm not going to, because it's your fault. The third line of who I blame for this is the people. We have decided to allow our masters to send us out to pasture to eat in the dry grass, the brown and drinking grass that gets no rain. We have allowed our masters to push us further out in the field, where they chase to save one sheep out of the flock and left the rest of us to fend for ourselves. Well, it's your fault. It's my fault. It's all of our faults. Because I had options. I had the options to flee the country and abandon all of you. I had the option to become violent and do stupid shit. I have the option to be angry and chase you and run you in the ground and call you out by name. But instead, I choose love. Which is why I try my best to be on this show every Wednesday night. But where are you? You're bitching because your $300 check from the IRS was supposed to start tomorrow and it hasn't deposited yet. Because you're freeloading on the back of my entire life's work. Go get a fucking job and get over yourself. The fourth set of people that I blame is the young people. Those that 10 years ago we said showed the most promise, the greatest generation of all time, understood technology, the advanced architecture of engineering, the beautiful works of how the world was built, believing in you 10 years ago that you were going to set us all down, take care of us, and build infrastructure. But instead, you are confused about what organ on a male species or female species should go in what bathroom. And the problem is the stick figures on the sign don't even display the organ. It's a dress or it's jeans, and that still confuses you. So if I'm getting a little passionate tonight, it's because I'm done. I'm finished. I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm not wasting my time on this show talking about Republican and conservative agendas. I'm not wasting my time on this show being anti-democratic or rhino. I will spend my time on this show talking to the heart of humanity. And I don't give a damn what side you're on. I am done playing this game. We are all to blame. The fifth line that I blame in all of these things is the United States military. All branches of service, past and present. I'm a retired member of the United States Army, and I am grateful for my service and those that served with me, those that died while in service with me, those that are in service now, and those that laid the path for me to be there. But we have failed. We took an oath to defend the Constitution. And for the last 20 years in this nation, the Constitution has been violated. I will not say anything more. But I ask every veteran to consider that. Consider that. You took an oath, and we have failed. The last people out of that chain and line of my blame that I blame is the politician. Because you were stupid enough to take the money that got you elected. You weren't ready to be elected. They bought you because you were the weakest link, because you were the most vulnerable. You were the do boy or do girl. You were the sex trafficked slave. You were the ignorant one. You were the one that had evidence all over Facebook because you display your entire life. You were the one they had videos of, or you were the one that couldn't be faithful to your husband or your wife, or you were the one that liked to frequent younger establishments, or God, who knows? Maybe you spent some time with Jeff Epstein, you know? Understand the reason you got in your seat was because you were the weakest link, not because you were the strongest. So for that, I will tell you, my brothers and sisters, the weakest link, I forgive you for being the weakest link. I do. Which is why I'm blaming you last. Because everybody I mentioned before is stronger than you, and so are we. And this we will defend. From me and my family here in the Low Country and all of my panelists here on this show, I thank you for attending this moment. And I pray that this moment rocks you like it rocks me. We bid you good night.